Oleg Herman, the manager of Gennady Golovkin, says that he is basically washing his hands of the Eubanks. I'm going to quote Herman directly here. He says, "As far as the Eubanks, we are not going to lose another minute with these clowns. They had a real chance to fight us. They lost it. We won't be in this position again with this strange family. They should forget about Golovkin for a couple of years. Eubank is not on our list. I'm sure after they saw all of this positive craziness around the GGG Brook fight, they now regret what they have done. We have a very simple position about their team. We don't lose time on empty words." So those are the words of Oleg Herman, the manager of Triple G. And of course, you can't blame him. He's saying that the Eubank should forget about Golovkin for a couple of years. He's making his intentions very, very clear. Now, I can certainly understand where he's coming from. I can certainly understand the stuff he's saying. He's been messed around by the Eubanks and whatnot. But if I've learned anything about boxing, it is that it's constantly changing. It's constantly in flux. He might say that the Eubanks have lost their shot at this particular moment in time. But if Eubank went away and got a couple of good wins, high level wins, maybe scored an upset over somebody in the next, 6, 8, 10, 12 months, I'm sure Herman would reconsider his position. This is the nature of boxing, people. It's always changing. The situations are always in flux. So you can never say never a lot of the time in boxing. But I'm sure most people will be siding with Herman and saying, you know what? Golovkin should never fight Chris Eubank Jr. after being messed around the way that he was. And again, I feel total and utter sympathy with that point of view. I'm definitely not a fan of fighters who mess other fighters around. I'm really not a fan of it. This is people's living, their livelihood. And you're messing them around like this. It's unnecessary. It's uncalled for. I've been very critical in the past, for example, of people like David Haye and Vladimir Klitschko, who have messed opponents around terribly, who have made them think they're going to fight them and then just cast them aside, used them for publicity purposes and what have you. So I've been very critical of fighters like that. And again, I have to be very critical of the Eubanks. Although they didn't take it to the extremes of David Haye and Vladimir Klitschko, the Eubanks never signed. Whereas Haye and Klitschko actually signed for fights several times and pulled out, often at the last minute. So they are worse in my mind. But still, the way the Eubanks messed around Golovkin, definitely not on. And here we have Herman, the manager of Golovkin, saying the fight might not happen, or the Eubanks should forget about Golovkin for a couple of years. That's a long time. Some people might even be disappointed by that because they probably feel they want to see Golovkin fight Eubank sooner rather than later. Some people because they think Eubank will actually give Golovkin a good fight. Other people because they want to see Eubank get brought down a peg or two and taste some punishment. So whatever the case may be, let me know how you feel in the comment section below, people. All right, it's your boy Hatman. I'm out.